What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about Control by Remedy Games. This game looks similar to Quantum Break, another game they've done. There's not entirely a lot to cover because there's limited animation in the gameplay that they've shown, but there's some juicy stuff here and there. So starting off first, we're going to take a look at the gun examples that we have. The first one is going to be obviously more of a powerful, heavy gun. You have a recoil with 3 frames, and most of the animation is a settle. The next one is going to be more of a rapid fire with a mini recoil. And the great thing about this game is that you only have one weapon, they've said. But this one weapon has multiple variations. So the great thing about that is that within these variations, because it's the same gun, it's going to rely heavily on the animator to sell this variation. Whether it's a rapid fire, a powerful, big, something similar to a shotgun, it's going to be the job of the animator to sell that. And I think they've done that very well so far. This now leads us into the force throw. I don't know if it's called that, but that's what it reminds me of. One thing I always love is when they add a little subtle anticipation before the actual move. This, however, did throw me for a loop here because there seems to be more strenuous animation with the lighter object as opposed to the heavier object, because there's a little bit more of a wind-up for the lighter object to be thrown as opposed to the heavier. One thing I do love, however, is the action is led with the shoulder and the arms follow. One thing you want to take into account anytime you're doing an animation is what is actually leading the animation. Is it the head? Is it the shoulder? Is it the hips? And that's also something you probably think about before you even open your 3D animation program, as far as who this character is, how they move, how is that going to be shown through the animation. One thing I do like is the complete 180 turn, just to show how powerful that throw is. You get a little follow through of the arm. This animation somewhat reminds me of the Jedi Fallen animation, but the Jedi Fallen animation is a little more stiff, which gives a little more power and authority to that throw, that force push. This now leads us with a great little segue to actually what I'm going to dub the force push. I love this animation, and the reason why is because I was honestly expecting some type of camera shake to sell it, like most punches or special moves do, but without the camera shake, it allows us to focus on the destruction. And I honestly wish the guy had been pushed probably further back or into a different room. But what this reminds me of is the scene in One Punch Man where he's throwing his punch and it doesn't connect, but you see the impact of the absolute destruction behind the dude. And it's a great scene, and that's what honestly this reminds me of, because you don't need the camera shake, and you get like maybe about 2 or 3 frames where you just see the build-up of the destruction that's about to happen, and it's a really great shot. It's honestly a really great shot if you just slow it down just a little bit. Moving forward, this brings us to the run. Now, one thing I think is very underused in all run animations is going to be the shoulder movement. A lot of people forget about the shoulder movement in runs, and in this animation, I absolutely loved the shoulder movement. I spent maybe about 30 minutes or so just trying to mirror the animation. Mine, of course, is a little bit janky, a little bit poppy. I didn't spend that much time trying to polish it, but it's great to do exercises like this. If you see an animation you like, record it and try to animate it in your 3D program of choice. It's almost like sketching, because you know with sketching, the more you sketch, the better you get. Well, the same thing applies to animation. The more you animate, the better you get. The more you can see and hone in on your skills, and you get that eye. I'm sure you guys have all heard it before, where you just need to have that animator's eye where you can just tell how many frames this is going to take, what the anticipation is going to look like, the poses you have an idea of, and that's exactly what happens when you do it more and more and more. Lastly, this leads us to my favorite, all-time favorite animation. That is going to be, I guess, the flying, floating animation. I'm going to dub it that. I love the push-off that she does. It's almost like she's forcing her way out of gravity's pull. When she's throwing something, actually, while she's floating, there's a great little dangle of the arm and sway of the legs, and it's really beautiful animation, and it's always a pleasure to see it in any type of gameplay or trailer. And the animation honestly reminds me of the Iron Man scene where it's his first flight, and he's kind of controlling his his balance with the reactors and the boots and everything, and it's a really great animation. So that's pretty much it for this game. The animations look fun. I'm excited to play it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. Until next time, guys, keep animating.